This is the plaintiff, Donald Clemens. He says he's here suing the defendant for a $79.51 can of deck stain the defendant refuses to pay him for. She hired him to stain her deck. He went out and purchased the can of stain. She then changed her mind as the stain was being applied. And he's here out of principle to show the defendant she can't act like a crazy person and get away with it. This is the defendant, Robin Moorhead. She claims the plaintiff sent his son to stain her deck, and the kid didn't know what he was doing. She and the plaintiff agreed the deck would be cleaned and then stained, but the kid just started to apply the stain to a dirty deck, and she stopped him. She's not about to pay for the stain when she canceled the job because the plaintiff doesn't know what he's doing, and she's standing firm because she's in the right. She's accused of decking a contractor.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant hired him to stain her deck and stiffed him. She is calling BS. It's the case of what a deck.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Donald Clemens, you are suing Robin Moorhead for $79.51 for, according to you, breaching the contract that you'd had with her to stain her deck. Tell me what happened.
She called me and asked me if I would stop over to her house and give her an estimate for stain and seal on her deck. So I told her that I had a full-time job during the day and that I would come in the evening, and I wasn't sure
How did you find him?
Well, I went online to find sealing decks, and his name came up.
Okay, so go ahead.
And by the way, my rating with the home advisor is like the top, so
okay.
I'm not some fly-by-night like she claims.
Okay.
So I came by on the 22nd. I called her and said I was on my way, but she didn't answer the phone. I got her voicemail. I left a message. Even though she didn't answer the phone, I still went out there because oftentimes people aren't home when I do this. I measure it, make the calculations, give them a written estimate, leave it in the mailbox. Well, she came outside when I was measuring the deck, and I didn't even see her coming up behind me, and I was kind of startled. I said, oh, hi. And she said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm measuring your deck so I can give you the estimate that you asked for. And she was kind of cold, but she didn't really say a whole lot. So I sat down and I figured it all out. I went back up to the door, handed it to her. Oh, I forgot to say.
What was your estimate?
My estimate was $360.
In order to do what?
To stain and seal the deck.
Can I see the estimate?
Certainly. This is the estimate.
Okay, so go ahead.
And I'm glad you asked for that because you notice I made a comment to her when I was doing that. I said, this is a new deck. Is it ready to be stained and sealed? Because you can't stain and seal a deck as soon as it's built. You know, it has to dry out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I noticed I didn't put anything on there about cleaning because it was brand new. So I didn't figure to clean it. I just figured we were going to go out there and stain and seal it. So I got the material, and I have a receipt for it. And I sent my son out there, and he does these all the time. He's not, somebody that just started.
Okay.
So I send him over there, give him the material, and send him over there, and he just gets started, and he calls me up, and he said, Dad, he said, she's out here telling me to clean the deck. And I said, well, it's a new deck, but I said, if she wants you to clean the deck, then clean the deck.
Okay.
I said, go to Lowe's, buy some cleaner. I said, like 99 out of 100 times we would have cleaned the deck because usually they're 5 years old, and not brand new. So,
right, but I mean, I wouldn't, what was your, okay, you had never met the son.
No.
You wake up and the son, and the son was there working on it, or how did that work out?
I was in the house.
Okay.
And he told me his son would come there about 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
I come, it's like 12:01. I look outside and there's a car parked in front of my house. He didn't knock on my door.
Okay.
And so I go to my back door and I look out there and he's staining the deck. I'm like, well, aren't you going to clean it? He's like, no, I'm just doing what I was told. I was like, well, it has to be cleaned before you stain it. He said, I'm just doing what I was told. I was like, okay, well, thank you. I don't no longer need your service.
Okay.
And so he left. He took the paintbrush and squished it down on my deck, and then he left. He never knocked on my door, not once.
Okay, at some point, does he tell you, I'll clean it?
No. No, he said he was just doing what he was told.
Did the dad ever call you and say, okay?
After the fact, yeah.
And said what?
So would you sue on principle for $79?
No, that is a waste of your time.
Maybe a waste of your time, but what about on principle?
Well, nah, that's just not worth it.
Okay, I could get into how much you would do it for, but we're out of time going inside the courtroom.
He said, well, I didn't think it needed to be cleaned because it was brand new. I was like, well, why wouldn't you know it needed to be cleaned? I said,
Why did you feel it needed to be cleaned?
because I did research.
Okay. Now, normally, I agree with you. I'm just wondering, I mean, there's clean and then there's clean. I wouldn't want somebody to start putting stain on my deck unless they, quote, cleaned. Now, when you clean, it's a 2-day job. Because if you clean, you have to wait for it to dry and then you come back. So that's kind of why she's upset, because you tried to save yourself a day by not cleaning it. And no matter what, even if something is, quote, new, there's still going to be dirt and debris on it. How long had you had it? How many weeks? 2 months of dirt and debris as opposed to 2 days of dirt and debris, which, I don't know, seems kind of wrong. Like maybe you should clean it first?
Well, he's not here, but he said that he told Robin, that he was going to go buy the cleaner and come back and clean it.
And according to you, that didn't happen.
But that he wouldn't.
Never.
Maybe that's
I believe he did.
So
He
your
also
feeling
told her
is you
that it would
lost
be 3 days.
confidence.
Yes, definitely.
So you didn't want them to do the whole job, because what if it looked terrible? Because if they weren't cleaning, then you didn't feel they were putting the effort in.
Correct.
And your feeling is, hey, if this is a stain she wants, because he's not suing you. You understand he's not suing you for the $350.
Right.
He's suing you just, hey, this is your stain. You picked it out. I bought it for you. Just buy the stain off me. And why isn't that reasonable?
Because I felt that he should have done the job correctly, point blank, and he would have got paid the whole amount.
No, I know. But that's, if the guy's saying, you got to pay me because I sent my guy there, then I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's not what he's saying. All he's saying is, look, I'm out this stain that you picked. If you're going to get this done anyway, why don't you just pay the $79 so that I'm not out anything and we'll both just go our own way? It was kind of reasonable.
Well, I didn't think so. I didn't feel I needed to.
So what did you do? Did you actually buy that same stain, or did you change your mind on the color?
No, his son had messed up the part that he so-called stained. It was like brush marks all over, so I had to try to get a stain to cover it up because it was terrible.
What did you do? Did you decide to go darker?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You're going to pay him for the stain. $79.51, verdict for the plaintiff. I would never make you pay him for the job. I'm with you. If they're not cleaning it beforehand, I would lose faith too, so I understand. But I am going to make you pay him for the stain. $79.51.
So the plaintiff is going to get his money back for buying that stain. Ms. Moorhead, how do you feel about this? You think it's fair that he gets his money back anyway for the stain?
No.
You're still objecting to that?
Yes, I am.
Well, the judge disagrees with you.
You're right,
okay.
she does.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Clemens. It's not often we hear a lawsuit for $79, you know.
Well, she brought her happy face today. You didn't really see how she talked to me and treated me throughout this whole thing. I had already decided I wasn't going to do the job because she was such a nasty person.
Yeah.
And, I was for the principal.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good enough. Thank you very much, sir. Okay.
Thank you.
Harvey, principal one out.
Doug, the key here, she changed her mind on the color, so she is stuck.